As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be university and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, in association with the African Asian Rural Development Organization, ORDO, New Delhi, organized this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Today is 14th August 2021. Happy Independence Day tomorrow. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency, the Secretary General ORDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Center for Excellence, Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let us welcome our guest speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Chakradhar GR. He is the Director and CEO of CryptoRetail Incorporated, USA. And the topic is blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform pathway for global trade. I wish to inform the participants that under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, have organized 39 lectures so far on the topics: open technologies to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure, a roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat, open source software in industrial IoTs for SMEs, free and open source software adoptions and business models, open data platform for smart digital government, technology imperatives make in India for self-reliance, edge artificial intelligence, data governance for self-reliant India, Digital India transforming governance and society, India's email service citizen@indiamail.com in 22 constitutionally recognized languages, ecosystem architecture for digital transformation, education system cyber critical infrastructure, seizing opportunities in open innovations and value creation networks in the digital world for self-reliant economy, ensuring food safety and compliance through technology, Digital India urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India, technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of foreign direct investments, entrepreneurship skill development, artificial intelligence design pathways, the rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance, era of automation, robotics, and Industry 4.0, Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis and opportunities, role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research, digital agri-tech and agri-startup perspective, health informatics network value chain, e-health systems and beyond, leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chains, unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development, e-governance models towards sustainable quality access to system factor by technology, Indian MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program. Building public digital platform using microservices and API. Health informatics network value chain, early childhood development and learning. Health informatics network value chain, clinical AI. Interface between machine learning and health informatics. Health informatics network value chain, importance of social medicine and community health in the times of health emergency. Gravity filter, G filter, a simple low-cost solutions to the drinking water treatment in rural India. Open source GovTech startups empowering growth with automation. Digital transformation in small enterprises and small business of India, challenges and opportunities. National Digital Twin Program. Need for a robust geospatial infrastructure. Industry 4.0 in MSMEs, benefits of indigenously developed black cards. Mass serialization and anti-counterfeiting solutions to fight illicit trade. Cybersecurity, risks, challenges and solutions. Intelligent approach to reduce cyber risk. New Internet IPv6 root server toward connected Bharat. Indian startups, reflections and possible public policy interventions needed for scaling up to Gram Panchayat. Today is the 40th edition of this very important webinar series, and we will have the talk by our guest speaker, is Shri Chakradhar. Is the director and CEO CryptoRetail Incorporated, USA and India, on the topic blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform, pathways for global trade. Dear participants, please note down the keywords. The keywords are blockchain, cryptocurrencies, crypto, digital assets platform, global trade, and the pathways. Atmanirbhar Bharat, the road ahead. Atmanirbhar Bharat is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation. Rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, and based on 5 pillars: economy, bottom jump; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; system, 21st century technology driven; vibrant demography, source of energy for self-reliant India; and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. Demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. Supply chain management is an important area for achieving the targets of global trade. This was announced on 15th May 2020 by the central government, and also with a clarion call, vocal for local, to make it for global. And these reforms announced have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chains. This is our intent. The Digital India program aims to transform India into a knowledge-based economy and a digitally empowered society. On 20th February 2019, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology published a report titled India's $1 trillion Digital Opportunity. In collaborations with McKinsey and Company, the report identified 30 digital themes. If scaled up nationally, can accelerate India's progress in 90 areas. The rise of digital platform economy is emerging, and digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. The evolving digital economy is closely associated with emerging technology, and it is also fueled by data. The technologies are blockchain, data analytics, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, automation and robotics, and cloud computing. Digital transformation technologies include cloud computing, mobile phones, IoT platforms, social media, GPS, advanced human-computer interactions, authentication and intrusion detection, 3D printing, smart sensors, augmented reality, analysis of big data and advanced algorithms, and user data collections. Let us understand what are and which are digital assets, because today's topic is blockchain and crypto to digital assets platform, pathways for global trade. A digital asset is anything that exists in a digital format. Means a digital asset is anything that exists in a digital format that comes with the right to use. That comes with the right to use. It means that a digital asset has an inbuilt digital rights management, is a built-in digital rights management. And the common digital assets are cloud storage, digital media, graphics, Word documents, PDF documents, presentations, website domains, and directories, etc., etc. Digital assets are shaping the new financial service industry. Digital assets are shaping the new financial service industry. According to Didier Gopfert, is an CPO Blockchain AG. He says digital assets are the biggest upgrade in the history of financial services. Digital assets are the biggest upgrade in the history of financial services. Money will be programmable, securities will be programmable, and they will circulate in the speed of information. Very important assertions that money will be programmable, securities will be programmable, and they will circulate at the speed of information. This upgrade will unlock an incredible amount of value and has already started up scaling up the financial industry. Let us be a part of this. Digitization has become ubiquitous. Almost all the assets that businesses routinely interact with are either becoming digital or enhanced by the advances in big data and technologies and analytics. Interestingly, the last couple of years have seen a rise in the importance of digital assets across industries such as banking, finance, healthcare, education, publishing, mining, and energy, to name a few. With the increasing importance of digital assets, it is important to manage them efficiently and effectively. In today's digitized world, data, systems, and applications are the most critical assets of the organization. The importance and sensitivity levels of these digital assets, however, vary widely across sectors. Standards are not there. Standardization is not being followed. For example, in the hospitals, the most sensitive asset is the patient information that resides on the hospital systems, whereas the most critical assets for financial organizations are digital transactions. Attacks on these digital assets can lead to huge damages to the businesses. Therefore, the businesses need to have an effective, clearly outlined digital asset management strategy. Digital asset management strategy to analyze and protect their digital assets. So digital asset management strategy is very important for every organization, be it banking, be it financial services, hospital management, education, and so on and so forth. What do you mean by digital asset management? Is both a business process and a form of information management technology. Digital asset management is both a business process and a form of information management technology. For businesses, both large and small, the importance of digital assets management comes down to practical business benefits and considerations with respect to productivity, process efficiency, storage efficiency, protection of rights and permissions, regulatory compliances, support asset life cycle and user roles, and also that integrate, not isolate, offering flexibility, coming and going, and provide a strong infrastructure and backbone. Digital asset management softwares manages various types of digital content, namely uploading, storage, adding metadata, organization, retrieval data, download, advanced research, sharing content, security, access control, version control, reports, and analytics. The digital assets in the financial sectors are cryptocurrency, platforms, decentralized applications, and non-fungible tokens digital. An image organizer, possible presentation labor for a digital assets management. Web content management system may be a presentation layer for a digital assets management. Blockchain and the future of digital asset management. Blockchain is a secure, decentralized, and distributed ledger system that sets up, manages, and invests in digital assets management strategies in a decentralized manner. The asset management strategy helps business record a transaction when the assets travel across numerous network systems. They carry intellectual property ownership, attributions, and many other features with them during every transaction. Blockchain technology protects the transfer of the ownership of digital assets and also protects the assets from misuse by checking the integrity and identifying people who are using them. According to Don and Alex, blockchain cheats. Blockchain is an incorruptible digital ledger of economic transaction that can be programmed to record not just to financial transactions, but virtually everything of value. Because of its capabilities, blockchain should be an integral component of every digital asset management strategy. Inclusion of blockchain in digital asset management strategy is of particular importance for organizations that deal with high security data or for large corporations that run on their own validation networks. Digital assets to take over the world. Blockchain and crypto to steer the fourth industrial revolution. The main objective behind this concept is decentralization, and blockchain is the key. If blockchain technology is adopted increasingly, this will result in the rising value of cryptocurrencies. The value of a global trade in goods and services is forecast to reach $6.6 trillion in Q2 of 2021, according to the report from May 2021. It's a UN organization. International trade is the exchange of capital, goods, and services across international borders or territories. The World Trade Organization report states that blockchain could bring trade globalization to another level and also charts some of the challenges to overcome to unlock its potential. According to its report on 3rd December 2018 titled, Can Blockchain Revolutionize International Trade? Cryptocurrency For example, Bitcoin, Dash, Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Tether, etc. A cryptocurrency or a crypto is a binary data designed to work as a medium of exchange, wherein individual coin ownership records are stored in a ledger existing in the form of a computerized database using strong cryptography to secure transaction records, to control the creation of additional coins, and to verify the transfer of coin ownership. Bitcoin, invented by a person or a group of persons, identified as Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008, blockchain was largely responsible for the success of Bitcoin, arguably the most popular cryptocurrency today. Impact of cryptocurrency on international trade law. Canadian government has approved the world's first national law on the subject of virtual currency. Recently, the Central Bank of Canada's head quoted that he objects the cryptocurrency term as they are crypto, but cannot be treated as a valid mode of currency. Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore stated in January 2018 that law of this nation does not make any difference between the transaction done via cryptocurrency or via flat currency. Despite the ambiguity around cryptocurrency regulations in India, virtual currencies are fast gaining popularity in the country as a form of payment. As things stand now, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are not illegal in India, but are unregulated. Blockchain is a distributed ledger technology that could make trading commodities simpler, cheaper, and more transparent. It is best known for its association with the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, but it can be used in any process involving transactions and exchanging data. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin have not lagged behind. According to industry estimates, there are 10 million crypto investors in India, with the total holdings of $1.36 billion, according to the report of Mr. K.S. Bathirinarayanan in the Hindu Business Line, dated June 18, 2021, on the title "Cryptocurrency Investors Can Wait Till Clarity, Emerges." Government has listed a bill for providing for the banning of all private cryptocurrencies in India, and provides for a creation of a legislative framework on an official digital currency. RBI has banned cryptocurrency in 2018, since the illegality was the reason. But the Supreme Court of India quashed the ban, stating that they are not regulated yet, but are not illegal too. On March 2020, current post-pandemic environment is pretty near perfect for cryptocurrencies spread. Coronavirus or COVID-19 has created havoc in the history of humankind. While the pandemic caused several commodities and assets to lose their value, the cryptocurrency market, on the other hand, was found immune to coronavirus. Technology, data, and global trade is the new pathways for development. Technology, data, and global trade is the new pathways for development. Trading services via digital platforms allow users to find service providers from all over the globe for a wide range of services. This digital platform seamlessly connect the customers with the service providers. Technological improvement have the potential to increase efficiency and open up new markets. Technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain will impact the future of trade, as these advancements can vastly improve the aggregate supply for many industries, promoting lower prices and higher outputs. Technologies also pose difficult governance challenges, both domestic and cross-border. And I would like to quote from the World Economic Forum report of 2020 on the various technologies which are impacting international trade. Internet of Things, IoT in supply chain. As far as India is concerned, we have identified about 400 agriculture commodity value chain to be made digitalized and operationalized. Digital payments, e-commerce platforms, cloud computing, 5G, artificial intelligence, oblique machine learning, digital documentation, e-signature, digital identity, smart border systems, blockchain distributed ledger technology, robotics and automation, digital services other than digital payment, open supply chain information systems, virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, 3D printing, additive manufacturing, and others. With this background, let us turn to the address of our guest speaker, Shri Chakradhar, GR, Director and GO, CryptoRetail, USA and India, on the topic blockchain and crypto to digital assets platform pathways for global trade. As per the synopsis, he will share his ideas on overview of blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, legalities of crypto holdings, demo of crypto exchange and comparability digital assets platform, and how it generates pathways for global trade. The participants watching over through facebook.com, Soviet University India, or youtube.com/Soviet University in, or linkedin.com/company/Soviet University for motivating them to harness the power of transformers, technology, and capital to establish startups to deal with the digital assets platform, leading to self-reliant India. Let me introduce our guest speaker to participants of this webinar. Mr. Chakradhar, your video is not coming. Okay.
Hello.
Mr. Chakradhar
Thank you.
Is the Director and CEO CryptoRetail Incorporated, and his offices are they both USA and Hyderabad, Telangana, state of Telangana, India. Chakradhar carries more than 2 decades of IT experience in banking and finance industry, and has worked in acquainted him the global exposure and the big picture on banking and financial services combined. Chakradhar has worked in very senior roles in technology as well as banking, like HSBC, Citibank, and Fidelity, in the verticals of wealth management, cryptocurrency, private banking, and other treasury management services. He worked as a CEO for non-banking financial companies, SMEs, to financial institutions to make them a digital lending platform to make the easy business possible. Finally settled in Hyderabad to continue working on latest technologies and designed to make the affairs of international trade to be operational from India. Currently, Chakradhar is Director and CEO of CryptoRetail, which is operational in other European and Asian countries to take this forward to run from India. Mr. Chakradhar, we welcome you to address in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India on the topic blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform pathways for global trade. This international webinar series is being organized in close association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ARDO, New Delhi. Over to you.
Thank you, Prof. Moni, sir. Thanks for the introduction as well. And firstly, advanced happy Independence Day for all Indian citizens, and hi to everybody. I thought I'll give a few lines about my introduction in addition to what Professor Moni sir has done. Uh, continuing with my engineering background, where I have worked for more than 2.5 decades in banking and financial services industry. I also had got the opportunity to pursue legal education as well, which allowed me to think in the lines of the functionality, technology, and the legality aspects of the banking and financial service domain. So this would allow me, to expose an overview of the cryptocurrency session for today, covering in an hour's time, marrying the functionality, technology, and legalities of the digital assets platform. So in this session, what I'm going to present is I'll give an overview on blockchain technology and the functional aspects. Why exactly? What is the need to have a cryptocurrency on this planet? And I'll also take you through to the portal that's being developed by CryptoRetail, and I'll give a quick demo on how exactly an international trade can be performed practically. That's one. So let me start with the session. So the topic blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform. This is being the platform is being developed by Crypto Retail, and this is our address as well as my contact number for this particular thing. Now, before we get into the overview of the blockchain technology,
Mr.
we
Chakradhar, can you hide this one, the last line? Can you hide?
yeah,
Okay.
is it better now? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine, fine.
Yeah, yeah. So we may need to address a few of the concepts that requires an understanding before we take the footsteps into the cryptocurrency, cryptography, and the other aspects. Cryptography, as the name suggests, it's basically writing, which nobody understands. We can say that as a secret writing by making use of, few concepts. Predominantly, this cryptography is bifurcated into symmetric as well as asymmetric cryptography. So symmetric cryptography can be thought of having a single key. It is as good as we getting locked in an hotel room, wherein both from inside and outside we'll use the same key, both for encryption as well as a decryption. So that would fall under the symmetric cryptography. Whilst the asymmetric cryptography, it will take you to have the encryption and decryption phenomena using the public and private key combination. So the private key would be handed over to the intended recipient by the way which will encrypt that with the public key, and the ciphertext or the intended message would reach the recipient via decryption through a private key. So that would fall under asymmetric cryptography. Next, soon after we understand what exactly it needs to be communicated over the network, the real good concept comes in picture called hashing. So what is hashing? Hashing, we can say hashing is a kind of a hexadecimal code. Hexadecimal code stands for hexa stands for number 6, and decimal stands for the numbers. So this hexadecimal code can be mapped to alphanumerics. When 6 number is mapped to alphabets and 10 number is mapped to the numbers, from the first 6 alphabets, that is A, B, C, D, E, F. These 6 alphabets, in addition to the 10 decimals starting from 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's a combination of 16 alphanumeric code, the combination of which we'll call it as a hashing algorithm. However, I'll take you within 1 minute demo on how exactly we can encrypt this particular data. Now we have just seen what is a public and a private key, and distributed network. In the current world, where we have multiple blocks associated to each other, we may need to link all these blocks together to form a chain of blocks, which we are going to address in the subsequent slides. Let me give a little a 1 minute demo, so that you know how exactly this hashing happens. Okay. Are you able to see this screen? Okay. I'm assuming you are able to see the screen. The screen constitutes 5 different blocks, wherein we'll have block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, and block 5. Okay. Now, each block would have its own nonce. The nonce is nothing but, we can assume this as some random or some illogical number, where it can be unique, and how exactly it can couple with the respective blocks together. Now we have the data. Let me type something. I've typed some data here. Also, I'm giving some data. Here also, I'm giving some data here. Now, this data, because this is a block 1 with a nonce 11316. The previous, there cannot be a previous value for this. However, for this data, whatever we just discussed on the hexadecimal code, which is hashing, if we can see all the alphanumeric code in terms of, we can also apply the secured hashing algorithms like SHA 256 and SHA 512. So these are fixed length records, for this particular data. This represents this particular data. If I change, let me add one more letter, immediately the hashing will also get changed. Once the hash changes, the revised whatever it gets mapped to the block 2. Now, this is very much pertain to block number 1. Likewise, we have block 2, block 3, block 4, and block 5, wherein the data is subject to a change at any point of time. Now, in order to link or chain this, all these blocks, we require some mapping across these particular blocks. The mapping is nothing but the hashing, where in the block 2 we'll see that previous hashing which is related to the earlier block 1. Likewise, the block 3 would have the block two's hashing, and so on and so forth, block 4 to 3. So this kind of linking, this thing, and so to up to until infinity. Okay. So any further change, once that gets, we'll come to the point concept of mining in the subsequent slides. Once we do any revisions to this particular data. Let's go back to our presentation. Okay. Now, these are, when we come to the overview of what the blockchain technology, the top, these are the 5 pillars that we really require to understand what exactly is the blockchain technology. So this blockchain is nothing but the replicated database in the form of blocks of records linked into chains, which we just had a glance of it. And the whole network which maintains this chain of blocks is nothing but the blockchain. Now, we also have different concepts like mining, which is the process of selecting a ledger, and who adds new data to the largest distributed network known as blockchain network through a process called consensus. All the 5 concepts, those are interrelated, and we'll address one by one. Although the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain uses the consensus protocol based on solving a hard puzzle known as proof of work. Okay. And some other approaches were also being developed, and let it be proof of work, or the proof of stack, whatever. It's a type of consensus protocol in which these miners, they'll have a rich consensus, by participating in the contest of solving hardest mathematical puzzles. Like Bitcoin blockchain, crypto retail also, the product which we are going to see in the real time international trade. We also use the proof of work approach. Miners have that freedom of choice in what subset of blockchains that needs a mining, respectively, and that subset of proof of work contests to participate in it. Okay. Similarly, in CryptoRetail.com, wherein we'll see the mining process and everything, it's only the process of selecting a leader who commits new data to the blockchain by reaching the POW census, proof of work census, and which we are going to address about. The very first pillar is the mining, wherein the miners who successfully create the blocks are rewarded with bitcoins. Bitcoin creation would be halving every 4 years, starting 2008 to avoid inflation. This halving is nothing but the Bitcoin is has its inception since 2008, and it's been 13 years now, and the last halving was done in 2020. So halving is a concept, nothing but every 4 years, the size of that particular blockchain would get divided by two. It gets bisected by two. So this way, will the balance, the demand and supply kind of thing, and that would be really beneficial. The last halving was done in 2020. Now, the miners collect all these transactions in the blocks, and they tend to add them to the blocks, which are joined in a chain. As we have just seen a sample demo, any revision in this particular data may needs an addition to these blocks, which are again joined in a chain. Hence, all the transactions are trusted in the blockchain. So, and because these get verified by the miners, these transactions are trusted in the blockchain. So, that's the beauty of this mining pillar within the blockchain technology. And the next pillar is the proof of work, which is nothing but a protocol designed to form a digital transactions to make it secure without having to believe any third party. So this proof of work is one way of verifying current and past transactions. So the history of the transactions, verification and validation of the past transactions, the reverse changes, which are the current transactions, all that go through here. The work that goes into solving a puzzle, it generates rewards for whoever solves it. We just discussed on this mining. In other words, we'll say that this is often an algorithm kind of thing that's designed to verify transactions and obtain new blocks that are being added to the blockchain. With the proof of work, the miners are competing to be a primary source and to finish a complex mathematical puzzle, which will generate this new block, which is nothing but with the revised data, meaning that they will be ready to collect some new bitcoins as reward for these miners. Now, we also have a concept called 51% of attack, where we reduce this risk via this proof of work, because it's very hard to do this particular work. Similarly, we have the consensus, protocol. When a tokenized asset, let it be money, property, or anything which contains a value, once it gets transferred from person A to person B, the network validates those transactions and accepts them. Okay, all these are guided by the consensus protocol. So all the pre-agreed rules that are built into the network protocol would go in here. When every transaction is conducted on this network, it will be easily be validated whether the transaction conforms to the rules or not. Finally, the consensus, depending on the consensus mechanism chosen, let it be the proof of work that we discussed, let it be proof of stake, or the transactions usually gets accepted into the blockchain database. Normally, it will be a bunch of valid transactions put together in a single block, which we have just seen the sample demo of it. The next pillar would be the D apps. DApps, is part of the blockchain 2.0. The earlier three concepts were part of blockchain 1.0. This DApps is nothing but the distributed applications. So before we get into the decentralized applications, the operability of these particular apps, it is very crucial to define what they exactly constitute. So this DApp is not, refers to any application that runs on a decentralized network and utilize its resources. The typical attributes of any DApp, okay, that include multiple things like there is no central point of failure, it's open source code and whatnot, decentralized consensus mechanism, and in terms of dependability. And let's take an example of any a digital wallet that's prevailing in India, like phone pay, Paytm, Google Pay, all these are digital wallets. So they are very much dependent on their respective banks, and once in a while we often observe an outage wherein it doesn't respond. So the situations really compel us to carry again our physical wallets, carrying our currency or our credit or debit cards with us. So just of carrying just a phone with us now, we cannot do even a single digital wallet transaction nowadays, because the trust and the dependency on these digital wallets we cannot. Though the uptime and everything is at 98%, I would say, but still there is a shortfall of 2% in terms of the digital wallets here. Now, by way of having these distributed apps, earlier, from the sender to the receiver, if two banks are involved, and if any of the bank has an outage, that transaction would not go through, obviously. Now, using this particular technology and the distributed apps, we really can knock off the central point of failure here, because the transaction is happening from the sender to the receiver, from the peer to the peer. So absolutely there is no central point of failure here. And moreover, distributed applications, they are open sourced. So the dependency and transparency we can really believe upon. And in terms of the dependability, these distributed apps have the edge over the centralized ones, because the merits of a decentralized network would be more when compared with the centralized applications that we took a contrast of the Google Pay or Phone Pay. Further, it stores the information in a shared database and utilizes these decentralized computing resources to run. Now, on the open source code, the decentralized configuration, it would assume that the application source code can be reachable by all network participants. Considering a trustless setting, a member needs to have the capacity to authenticate what type of application the person is using and its actual function. So this way, users can evade scams and malicious software to protect personal information and assets. Okay, so this is the best way to achieve this objective. Is to release the source code, so that more transparency would be derived to all the users of the network. Now, on the decentralized consensus mechanism, since the apps operate in a shared system where every participant can change the information, it is important to have this mechanism through which users reach some agreements concerning the information and transactions that can be trusted mutually, and DApps uses that consensus mechanisms for this particular purpose. Now, the fourth one, the smart contracts. Okay, this has got an increasing demand nowadays, in not just in the other technologies as well, with a different name. These smart contracts are nothing but those are the software code or the programs that has some rules embedded in it, wherein we can configure those rules, and once based upon mutually agreed terms and conditions between the two parties or the multiple parties, the software that itself would get executed on itself. without any external interference. So basically, those are the self-executing contracts based on the predefined terms and conditions that's being agreed between the multiple parties. Let's slightly deep dive into the smart contracts concept a bit more in one more slide. So as we were discussing that, those are the predetermined conditions which the multiple parties agree to each other. They are used to automate the execution of this particular agreement, so that the intermediaries involvement or the time loss can be avoided by way of executing these smart contracts. And however, smart contracts cannot work without a blockchain. If you work, this auto execution of the terms and conditions outside a blockchain network, smart contracts will not work. So with this particular concept, however, it derives few of the limitations and constraints in changing. Let us assume having a change in the smart contract process, and that would be next to impossible. If at all we need, because it's already agreed, and if any change triggers a revision of the smart contract process, the smart contract, the code would be next to impossible to achieve this particular accomplishment. And any error in the code can be time consuming. That's also one of a limitation, and it's expensive as well to correct. It's not just for correction. It requires a correction, it requires a revision, nothing but a redevelopment, and then deployment onto the network. So all this, the staggered process associated onto the deployment, is going to yield a lot of dollars to the company, if at all the terms and conditions is subjected to any particular change. Next is on the blockchain prospects. So this blockchain technology, though it's a bit older, it's bigger than the internet. When the internet evolution has come in, um, you know, the financial institutes, the banks, and everything, they stepped back, thinking that it may not be secured or scalable, and the users of the bank and financial institutions were very much used to the mundane processes, that the teller or cashier, whoever will walk into a bank, take a token, get a note from the teller or the cashier, and once we attain our turn, we'll be disburse the money that we used to withdraw. Now all those dependencies have got changed after the evolution of the internet that has came, which we have seen. Now the internet has transformed whatnot, the music industry, communications, information, entertainment, transportation, and you name an industry, it has got transformation. Similarly, blockchain would also change the institutional footprints, and who knows, it may lead to governments going virtual as well. Like already we have seen the quasi virtual operability of the governments, and banks may go unnecessary, and ownership, it may go an ironclad, and insurance may go frictionless, and probably because it's a high secured network, and even the hackers may go out of business when blockchain technology gets implemented, though it's too early to say on this one, which I'll address the roadmap of this particular blockchain technology, on the evolution, how it started and how it is going to be in the subsequent slides. Now, the use cases by industry. We can say anything under the sun could have an applicability of the blockchain network at this point of time. Though many of the people, they deny the in late 2018, the analysts, they speculated that that's a hype given to the blockchain technology, or a cryptocurrency, wherein it may be too early to talk on, because the technology that itself did not take a final shape. And these are then, like, in financial trading, already we are seeing systems which are operational on blockchain technology, and any deal origination, These deal originations are nothing but any treasury management systems wherein you have the foreign exchange portals, money markets portals, even a fixed income and derivatives industry. Okay, so all these treasury management systems, already the respective financial institutions, they have embedded the blockchain technology in themselves. Similarly, the second generation derivatives, even the bullion market also has implemented. This, though it's too early, they have already implemented the global bullion system has already got implemented. Likewise, the collateral management, wherein the workflow for this particular collateral management is very long, wherein the valuation of that particular collateral, time value of money mapped to this particular collateral, because a collateral could be a gold or a land or any commercial building or anything, so it is subjected to a change day by day. So because there are going to be revised changes within the chain of blocks that's going to happen, it really requires a full load on miners, in order to crack these things with the revision of changes. Next, we have the payment systems already running in the blockchain technology, and the KYC. We are going to see the KYC in the demo that I'm going to show you shortly. And one of the limitation that we have is on the anti-money laundering. Because there is no central bank that is involved in between the transaction happening. Definitely, it is subjected to anti-money laundering uh, and FERA violations, especially in FERA and FEMA violations, especially in India. So that's why few governments are a bit skeptical in adopting this change, because they lose the control on how exactly the money is flowing, the digital money is flowing, it's cross-border currency or within the country. They'll really lose, and there won't be any complaints, which again will address this, on the legality aspects of within the country. Now, on the crowdfunding, a user can fund to the crowd accounts, to if, as long as that is confined to the self-help groups or joint liability groups or a cooperative society. Probably that will be of worth having this particular thing. But however, then individual crowd investors, angel investors, or any kind of crowds, that really would not have any track going to this. Likewise, in governments, we can have the voting. Blockchain can be implemented so that nobody can tamper the vote being cast to the respective person or the party in the as part of the voting process in India. And similarly, the vehicle registration, this avoid because India has more than 25 states. Uh, and vehicle is subjected to move from one state to the other state. So the vehicle registration would absolutely require a trusted source to endorse and certify that this is a real good registered vehicle, and this the records cannot be tampered by the way of doing in offline things other than the IT systems. Likewise, we also have the copyrights issue, wherein any white paper or any professor publishing a book, if it is duplicated or copied from a different source and make it available in their own versions or their own white papers, probably that also requires, and he can be sued legally, that by providing the documents, as it is subjected for a change or tampering the original content. Likewise, lot of asset classes we see, the assets include possessing diamonds, gold, whatnot, wearing designer brands, car leasing, uh, luxurious homes, and the land title ownership and the digital assets. So this is a special class actually, wherein it requires a lot of brainstorming to really address that. But I'll try to accommodate 1 2 slides here on how exactly the legalities can be addressed and how the legal heir can attain uh, the amassed wealth from their forefathers. And likewise insurance, where we'll have a false claims and the claims being filed, using this particular technology, that would be really beneficial even to the property payments, where the citizen will say that, I have paid the tax, but in actuality, the respective municipal corporation or panchayats, they might not have received that particular payment. And similarly the claims processing, that's the heart of the insurance, that will have a real objective by adopting this particular technology. And likewise the telematics and the ratings that's being done. So net, if you take any industry, these are just few examples. All other verticals within any given industry on this planet may need this secured computing using the blockchain technology in order to have an early fraud detection and prediction. Now, going to the functional aspects of, why exactly we require a cryptocurrency, right? So, you know, there are a lot of versions attached to it on, do we really require a cryptocurrency here? Normally, what will happen is, the governments, through their monetary policies, they'll influence the value of a currency. So, if it is really any crude oil procurement, absolutely the US dollars would attain, a hike in terms of their valuation. Likewise, it will de-hike the one those are being that is being purchased, like Indian rupees or anything. A person, he would work for his entire life and save a part of their wealth in their currency, and they know there is a risk that they may lose everything overnight, and when the currency collapses due to any bad monetary policy. This we can observe it in especially African and remote Asian countries, or sometimes even within the country as well, that we have seen in the recent past. So, in other words, we'll say that, we have local currencies in a globalized world. We have, every country has their own currency, and transacting this currency into a different currency within the, a cross-border currency. This transformation requires, a number of rules, a lot of regulatories, even the respective third parties, they may need to comply to their local federal bank guidelines, and these are all the challenges. But, if by the way of we adopting a cryptocurrency, by the way of doing this, we will not have any intermediary bank in between as part of the transaction. And obviously there is no, because there is no intermediary bank coming in between the sender and the receiver, absolutely will not find any central point of failure in between. And we can verify this particular, because as Professor Mori was initially talking on, the distributed ledger, by the way of, the verification, we can ensure that the transfer of funds, has happened or not in a very easiest way by going through the distributed ledger, which is very transparent, by just feeding in the virtual address of this particular person, we can see the history of transactions, what is being done, you know, by going through the distributed ledger. And unlike any intermediary bank, where it attracts some transactional costs involved, even to buy or sell, or even an ATM withdrawal nowadays, there are costs associated to it. So by the way of we having a cryptocurrency, we can knock off all the processing or transaction costs and the underlying and underpinned, charges by the banks. Normally, not all the people knows what are the underpinned costs, that are mapped as part of their at the end of the quarter or the end of the half of the annual closure. But there are implied percentage of deductions associated for any kind of transactions and monetary transactions and any other things. And we'll also have the 24 by 7 access to money, when especially when we have the cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum, well, that can be very well exchanged with the fiat currencies like Indian rupees or US dollars, wherein you can do it 24/7 starting from Hong Kong or Australian time, ending with US time. So, so we'll follow the sun model, wherein along with the sun, we'll take the access to the money and the transactions involved and everything. So there are no dependencies with the local federal banks. There are no dependency on the calendar, that where the holidays fall in between, and we may need to just execute a live wire transfer, perform. We may need to wait for a couple of days in case there are holidays involved and other things. So really, we require this cryptocurrency to come into effect, so that you know we'll knock off all manual and social intricacies involved. Now, there are no limitations on purchases and withdrawals. There are ceilings attached to, per day you cannot withdraw, say, 50,000 INR, or per day, you cannot make a transfer of 1 lakh rupees through UPI. So all these limitations would get knocked off by the way of imbibing a cryptocurrency technology. No, I'm because I run a crypto exchange. Obviously, I'll be in favor of having a cryptocurrency on this planet, so that we can knock off. However, there are limitations and constraints which we are going to pursue that in the forthcoming slides. And there are also faster international and cross currency transfers that we just discussed. And yeah, we have seen that in the digital signatures in the initial slides, wherein a transaction, once it gets encrypted with the secured hashing algorithms, with, let it be 256 or 512, once that gets encrypted using a private key, the digital signature output that would get transmitted over the network, which nobody understands it. And by the way of decrypting using the sender's public key, and when it gets subjected to the source of truth and eventual verification and validation, the miner's job would be easy. So this way we can have a lot of advantages and pros to the digital currencies we have, like we see Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, nothing but Ripple is a Litecoin, Binance, Dogecoin, and whatnot. And the respective general, the distributed ledgers for this particular thing could be, for Bitcoin, it would be the blockchain.com. For Ethereum, the distributed ledger is etherscan.io, and for XRP, it would be the ripple.com, and for Litecoin, it is I think lightchain.com, and for Binance.com itself is the distributed ledger, and the Dogecoin, dogechain.com. So uh, the top 13, as part of the demo, I'll show you, how exactly this particular transaction would go. Yeah, so let me give a quick demo on the CryptoRetail.com. Okay. Now, even the WebSocket is being implemented for highest security for CryptoRetail.com. Um, my internet is slow today. So, this is a secure site of crypto retail, wherein a user is entitled to register himself to perform an international trade. So once he clicks on register, he will provide his phone number, email ID, and everything. The mundane process of sending a link to the registered mobile number as well as the email ID, so that the validation of both the mobile number and the email ID would be done. That is standard process even in this secured product. And I've just for today's demo, I have created an ID so that I have pumped some test data into it, so that we'll see. Now, this is a centralized dashboard that we have, wherein the current for this is a real time, though it's a test environment. This is a beta version, but still there are live transactions. This is productionized to the back office system, and the market renowned back office systems are, we have Binance, we have Robinhood, we have Gemini, we have Kraken, and all the integrations with these back office systems is being done for this particular product. And currently, because we cannot point to all the four at a time, and the current pointing is to Binance at this point of time. So the plan is to switch over to Kraken by end of the year, which is too early to talk on. So this dashboard will see the account balance as, I'm holding this is mapped to US country. This particular ID is mapped to US. So I hold 1.55 bitcoins with me, with the account balance being $73,000 with me. So the next pane is on the announcement, wherein an admin can push notifications to the user. So this system absolutely knocks off all an IT reporting. It self funds, and it to itself, meaning he don't need to call a call center, all this, which I'm going to talk about. Now, the open orders that I possess at this point of time is, there is a sell transaction which amounts to one, and at this particular price, 36,660, I bought one Bitcoin. Now, this because this requires a robustness, scalability, and security, as well as transparency. The user should be known about all his activities so that he will validate himself. So, from which activity from Hyderabad, on this particular date and time, the last login happened, and what's the IP address, what are the series of transactions, how about the devices that's been done. It's been done from this IP address, the date and timestamp, and from a Chrome browser, or even if we do the, even we have a mobile app attached to this. If he does that through iOS or Android, similar tracking he can see, saying that he has seen that from Android, what is the IP address and other stuff. And if the user is interested to disable the account, he doesn't need to call his relationship manager. He can disable account on his phone at any point of time. He is free to do so, because considering the local compliances within the respective countries. Now, we can even upload a photograph for this particular thing. Now we have seen the dashboard, right? Uh, Next, we'll let us get into the settings. I'll quickly run this through. So because there is no data for this particular, because this is for demo purpose, there is no data. It automatically will go off. So the basic info, it says last IP and this one. The next one is the identity verification. So this is at most important, so that the KYC team of CryptoRetail will receive all the details that's being provided by the user. If you see the identity region, it will ask for the country. All the countries in the world, they have been configured. If we select any given country, the respective states, all that information would automatically comes in. So that intelligence is being imparted already. Because for Indian users, let me go to this, and I'm clicking on next. I'll go to India. The document ID. Say if I'm giving an Aadhaar or PAN or voter card or a driving license, whatnot. So any KYC document would serve the purpose here. And what's the date? What is his address? Select document and then upload this particular document. Provide the PIN and the city. These are standard things with the local compliance, for any given organization. So by clicking this button, you know, uh, we are taking that as an acceptance from that particular user, because there are a lot of Supreme Court rulings and guidelines in not asking for the personal information, especially like Aadhaar and everything, unless it is voluntary. So this is a disclaimer text that's been incorporated in the system, and then we'll say it's confirmed. Error occurred because I have not given any of the data. Um, and once I confirm this, that particular data would get flown to the KYC team. So the KYC team would validate this particular data, and then we have seen the announcement section. So by the way of their actions, the according announcements would go and notify that particular user. It's not just by the admin, but it's even from the respective relationship management team or KYC team, or they can talk within the portal itself. No external interference. Then we'll see the security aspect, which is quite interesting. um, because this would go as heart for any cryptocurrency application portal. So 2FA authentication is being imparted in this particular application, where the two-factor authentication using this one. Let me pick this one. So the step one is to install the Google Authenticator from Play Store or the App Store. So once we click on this particular thing, it will take us to install this too from the respective source of installables from the deck of install. Now, once that is installed on the mobile phone, by the way of opening the QR code reader from that particular app, we'll read this particular QR code. So that way, the mobile phone as well as the portal, that gets integrated, like how it's done in WhatsApp, web WhatsApp, similar concept. uh, because that's provided by the Android system, so that implicit feature is available. But this is an external application, so we used Google Authenticator app in order to do this. Once we click on this next, the next one is to we have seen the key fobs in olden days, where RSA secure ID, a device would be given to them, and it will have its own algorithm, and it will have multiple hops which are configured in intervals of time, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds or so. So that 6-digit code needs to be fed in whatever is displayed in the phone. That has to be fed in this application portal, so that we can authenticate the source of truth, whether the user is genuine or not. Um, so that is on the Google Authenticator. That's a high secret as this one. Next one is, if the user is struck with any given issue within the system, I'll say I'm going to rename this ticket as a self-service request, wherein he can raise a ticket that in case he encounters any issue, let it be a functional issue, let it be a technical issue, let it be any legal issue in his own country, he can very well get the reason, and do that, and the bot will pick it up, and the bot would start talking to the respective people in an automated way. So no human involvement is there as part of the end-to-end transaction that's being concerned within this particular system. So that's about the local profile. The next, let's go to the order history. So this order history is nothing but what is being ordered so far from within from date to date with the pair of currencies, or a cross border from a currency to the any dollar or coin to currency to the coin. So all the combinations are allowed in order to pull this particular order history report. Now, likewise, we have for buy crypto as well as the transaction history. So, the user is entitled or allowed to buy a cryptocurrency from the market. That is one of an option, or he can have that as part of his wallet. So those combinations we'll see as part of the international trade that's being done. Now, the user would like to this is a production data. Whatever I'm showing is a production data. So when we click on the buy crypto, all the top high performing 13 coins, we have taken that into consideration. So these are the top 13 listed across all the back office systems, like Bitcoin, Ether, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Tether, whatnot. Now, if I want to buy a Bitcoin or any other coin, I'll select it accordingly. And once I click on continue, it has the credit card PayPal integration here, wherein by the way of you doing it, would take you to a successful payment, upon which you will immediately get a confirmation that your portfolio will be reflected, and with your virtual address, the user is free to check that in the distributed ledger of the respective coin. So that everything happens online, and because there is no central authority, there is no office. It's self sufficient. The application is self sufficient to cater the requirements of international trade. Now, let's see the wallets. Okay, so the wallets, normally there are two operations that would be allowed predominantly. One is the deposit, and then another is withdraw. Deposit is to transfer this coin to some other's wallet. I would like to transfer it to one of a person in South Africa, and similarly some other person, he wants to transfer the money to my account. So accordingly, the deposit and withdraw are the keywords associated for the respective transaction. Now, these are the total bit. These are respective coin, the total and availability. So the totality plus in order, whatever is there in order. Uh, uh, in this particular, for this account, for this ID, I have this much. This is the available balance, but his totality is in 2.55. So whatever with the availability plus in order would give you with the totality. So that attributes to the USD value of 73,000 at this particular time. Now we can trade this particular this coin in the exchange, any of these coins, all these 13, because we cannot do for all the thousands of coins that are available in the market. The high volumes of trading that are being performed by the respective coins were being factored and considered in this particular portal. Now let us see the market. This is the real exchange. Now, um, this is the real-time data, right? So, one bit at this second, at 12:53, p.m. In the noon, the Bitcoin versus US dollar is 47K. Okay, so this gives analytics like, what is the 24 hours change, what is the shift in it. So it is plus 3%. Yesterday it was negative. I have seen yesterday it was around 45K also. Now in last 24 hours, the dip to the upper side is 3% from the last 24 hours, because this ID is mapped to US. It will take the US time, the last 24 hours from now to backwards minus 24 hours. And all time high within the 24 hours time is, it shooted up until 47,886 for Bitcoin versus the US dollar, and all time low is 45. So it ranged between 45,959 to 47,886, which is self-explanatory for the trader, and the volumes that happened was around 47,616. So when he clicks on the trade, now I'm taking this as an example. We are seeing the Bitcoin with respect to the US dollar, Ethereum with respect to the US dollar, and the respective. So if we click on trade, it will take us to exchange, right? The beauty of the analytics, uh, on the data that is provided, that's the beauty of this product. Now, if you see, the respective graphs, you can have it from a daily to until 5 years. It can accommodate all the 5 years of data also. Similarly, I want to go why this particular dip has happened here, which will be seen as, it opened with 52,303 with a high. O is open, H is high, L is low, and C is close. So on this particular 25th March 2021, he can have analytics. Now, if the traders, because they are very knowledgeable enough, they should have that indicators to be done. So all the distribution, the algorithms, the Poisson's distribution, the Jacobians and the Laplace transformations, all these things can be applied, or their own algorithm can be applied. So all these the indicators, used it. So he can mark this value. He don't need to make any notes of it. He can straight away do the analysis on this particular portal, the trader, and immediately he can take a screenshot of it, and that will go to his email as well as his mobile phone for reference sakes with the timestamp and everything. So even in the app, we'll see all the, what analysis he has done. You don't need to do the reanalysis of the transaction that he is doing. Okay, so that's brief about this particular walkthrough. Though there are multiple intrinsics, once we go into exchange, there are lot many things that's there. I don't want to get into the mobile app now because it's just an overview of this particular system. Let's go back to the PPT. That we have. Now, because we have seen the demo of how an international trade can be performed, with scalability, robustness, and security. We have just seen that. Now, how exactly an investment can be made? So normally, what happens? Uh, Currently, we have the investors, investing their money in normally stocks. When I was going to school, 100 rupees used to be the highest denomination, highest numeration value, right? And more than that, no other fiat currency was in use that time. Now, after that, we have seen 500 rupee note, 1000, and we have come to 2000 rupee note now. Now, the time value of the money over a period, it would always go down, and that valuation is dependent upon the gold reserves that the respective country has, whatnot. There are multiple factors for that particular country, what it is being traded across, how an international trade is getting performed on that particular currency. All that needs to be analyzed. Now, because the time value of the money goes down over a period, normally people tend to invest that in the stocks. So whatever was the stock, 20, when 100 rupees was the highest denomination currency, at that time, whoever has bought the stocks, they might have incurred around 1,000 times, 1,000 folds than what they invested at that time. Similarly, the gold, similarly a real estate, and the investors now are very very serious on crypto as well. In 2008, whoever has invested 100 rupees, now he would have been a billionaire by now. So in 13, subjected to halving and everything, so the investors are serious worldwide to invest in crypto as well. So when we have the normal Bitcoin purchase, it's prone to very bad trade decisions, which is taken out of hype and fear of missing it out. So that's a normal this thing. But what I would say as part of the SIP is, if the the trader is really investing that, periodically, or setting up an like how we set up a recurring deposit, fixed deposit in a bank account. Similar way, if we can have around say 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees a month, with an automated plan, that would really eliminates the risk of temperamental decision making. So if he does that manually, the trader may feel that, at the end of the month, Last time I have invested 10,000 rupees in this Bitcoin and there is a dip now. Let me not do this. So instead of not thinking that way, if he's doing an automated way of doing the things, probably he'll be investing in a systematic way. And the timing in the Bitcoin, and the cryptocurrency, it's not just confined for Bitcoin, it's for cryptocurrency. So the timing of the market is hard, and in fact nobody can predict this particular timing of the market. Yesterday it was what, we have seen a 3.11% hike to last 24 hours, all time high. We have just seen the real time data. So the similarly the investment, in a systematic way, timing the market is not needed, because we are looking at for a longer term, you know say at least 4 years of time or so. So most people, they'll sell in a panic when the price drops sharply. This is a common fallacy of any human being. Once everybody they are selling it, and he will take the same route. Whoever sustains and overcomes this particular thing, and is ready to have the risk tolerance and have a higher risk appetite, then probably definitely he'll earn more than the other. So there are lesser chances of the investment going negative, when we invest that in a systematic way. Also, the user, he may need to monitor the market on a daily basis, so that what exactly the holding or the portfolio that he has in the market, time value to the market. Now, we can forget about the market. We'll invest and then relax. We'll see after 3 years and see this particular thing. Now, the question arises here. Now, is it legal in India? Uh, yeah, there is this yes and no to this earlier, where I think a couple of years back, RBA has mentioned all his banks, to cut off all the relationships with the crypto exchanges like us. So we did not get proper support from the banks, where I can integrate all the banks in the country to do a trading by the way of a debit banking, or we have seen that as part in the application, where it got integrated with the credit card and debit card. Now, because RBA has instructed these banks, and banks needs to comply to the RBI federal bank, it was not legal. So one of an association, who they represent the Internet and Mobile Users Association of India. So they went to the Supreme Court and filed a case against it. And in March 2021, that ban was lifted by the Supreme Court of India. However, banks still feel, because they need to comply with the federal bank RBI, but not to the Supreme Court. There's banks played very smart that unless RBI confirms us, will not open this market to the exchanges. So the RBI took their own sweet time and came back with an announcement that the investor may need, they can perform a due diligence on their own, and they can invest with their own wisdom. So finally, as of today, it is legal in India to perform this particular transaction. You can buy that through CryptoRetail. Now, what are the problems that are faced by the crypto community? We have seen all the positive aspects of the crypto community, but technically how it was, functionally how it was. Now, there are also cons and challenges associated in holding cryptocurrency. Currently we have no means, I don't say lack of means, it's no means to secure these crypto assets. Crypto retail, in fact, because it's a digital asset platform, it acts as a custodian, for the assets that are possessed or holded by the trader. Um, you know, and we provide the means to secure crypto assets. But there are no means to secure crypto assets with the way of the trust to the trader that is prevailing at this point of time, and any loss of private key, which implies that it's a loss of cryptocurrency. So that is one of a challenge. So he needs to hold those keys very safe in his own mechanism. and there is no picture of a legal custodian coming in here, and there is a threat. It's a myth that there is a threat to being hacked, but because it's implemented using blockchain technology, as being mentioned earlier, that the hackers will go out of business. The threat or any denial of services. Even an attempt cannot be made on this particular technology, and there are no trusted brands in this crypto space. Everybody is new to this particular space, so the proved and tested brands in the market is currently not available, but definitely it will be evolved, and who knows, it would be crypto retail only who could be a trusted brand in this space. uh, Worrisome prospects of haze. So even if the trader he amasses his wealth, and he would be worrisome about how exactly that wealth is going to be invested, because it requires, it's not like a physical money where he'll just pick the money and go, plug and play. It's not like that here. So these are all the problem statements. Even the government reactions, they may vary from time to time, when the cryptocurrencies have ranged from aggressive to indifferent, and with investors and speculators. Everybody are monitoring the international developments very closely and acting accordingly. Now, to mitigate all these problems, the legalities aspects of it, we have the products like a Bitwill. Okay, Bitwill is again a part of the crypto retail, where normally any property, any person is free to write a will on whomsoever he intend to transfer that particular property upon his death, or immediately, like let it be an asset transfer of a land, in terms of gift, or a sale, or a registration, or whatnot, transfer of the property. Similarly, the transfer of the cryptocurrency can also be made with a product inbuilt in crypto retail called Bitwill. This addresses all the blockchain laws and regulations that are complied in the respective countries. So next one is the key assure. Now, key assure is nothing but the save the the second risk item that we are seeing here, loss of cryptocurrency due to loss of private key. So the we being the custodian, and on behalf of the trader, we assure the private keys with him, and that's the reason, as part of the KYC, we are also collecting the legal hair certificates from the respective people, and whoever has been submitted and approved and signed as part of the smart contract, that key would be transferred to the legal hair by the way of we assuring the handing over the private key to the legal hair. So with this, we are calling it as key assure, and similarly operating in a panic mode. So when there's a drop in terms of, we're also coming up with schemes like a referral scheme. So whoever refers to his peers or anybody, whatever that valuation it comes in, we'll offer whoever has referred. A kind of rewards that we have seen in mining, how it is applied to the technology. We are also implementing that in a functional way as well. So these are all the legalities associated in order to mitigate or lessen or transfer or to avoid any risks that's prevailing in the market now. Okay, so about this company, the Crypto Retail, it is founded by person Ishwar Dometi, who is a very successful entrepreneur, and he also have 2 decades of business experience in United States of America, and his impactful and success journey started when he started working in IT companies, and then he suddenly became an entrepreneur and ventured into uh, the leading business verticals in both US and Indian markets. Corp to Corp is founded by him, which is a reputed IT consulting business firm in US, and there are IT firms as well. He founded, apart from a company called Ed and Imigo, which is the overseas consulting as well as the visa processing for many countries in Africa, Asia, and US, Canada, North America. And again in education, hospitality, especially the hotel management, food and restaurant chains, and he's also a prominent leader in real estate, e-commerce, and so. So I joined him as a director and CEO after he has founded this CryptoRetail, and that's how it took the route of it. Coming to the important the roadmap of how exactly the cryptocurrency will take a route. Now, uh, if you see the blockchain scalability, uh, the smart contracts and the transaction risk assurance, when considering this convergence, it will vary from 23 to 28. Now, we are at this level where operating viability permission blockchain. Now, the reliable trusted nodes and the transaction risk assurance. In this time period, it is happening. The data confidentiality and all these things. See, the blockchain, whether it is technically viable or not, is already proven and tested starting from 2015 to 2019. And then the node computing platform performance was measured, the data confidentiality was tested, and the viability towards operability, that's also being tested on blockchain technology. Now we are in 2021, mid of 2020 to 2023, wherein the permission blockchain, how exactly we can have the risk assurance. We have just seen the multiple risk factors, and what is the mitigation plan for to mitigate this risk we have seen. So we are in line with the Gartner's expectation, because this is their paid report. Uh, and from 23 to 28, what is going to happen as per Gartner's analysis is there will be a programmable permissioned blockchain. So once this operability and viability, once this permissioned blockchain is attained, next we'll see an auto execution of this permissioned blockchain, which is likely to happen in between 2023 to 2028. Okay, so we are at 20 in between, proving this operability and viability, and we're also close to the technically scalable blockchain solutions. So yeah, that's the reason I was talking about the blockchain 2.0, where how exactly this technology can be scalable on this blockchain. So we are in between this proven viability and the proven technology factor here. Now, similarly, if we see the blockchain spectrum, okay, so in between 2020 to 2022, we are in mid of this particular time span. They have correctly, envisaged that the trough of disillusionment may prevail. In fact, this is true because one of the interesting nuggets of the Gartner research, they believe that this trough of disillusionment will occur something from 2020 to 2022. This means Gartner believes that in this time period there will be a hype phase of the blockchain technology. People will talk too big on the blockchain technology until 2022, and finally they'll realize. And once it gets tested, because normally in any business industry, early bird always picks the bomb. So whoever implements the blockchain technology much early than their competitors, they'll be a forerunner in the industry. So Gartner agrees to this particular point, where the hype phase could last until 2022, as was visualized in end of 2018. There are pros and cons. Now, coming to the major implementers with respect to the various business domains in banking and finance, these are the banks and other financial institutes that have implemented the blockchain. Similarly, if we go to government of Dubai has already implemented, and or not in real estate, you know, almost all big leaders in US, they have already implemented. Likewise, it is self-explanatory. With this, I'll take to the end of the presentation, as it's an overview on the blockchain and the cryptocurrency associated with the international trade and the pathways on what, why, and how aspects of the functionality, technology, and legalities are concerned. So, because this is 6 months, certificate course on the blockchain, we cannot cover everything in one and a half hour to 2 hours time. So I tried my level best to accommodate all these things in this umbrella, and with this I conclude the session. And I thank Professor Moni, and I hand over the mic to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chakradhar, for your very wonderful and very important and meaningful address on the topic blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform, pathways for global trade. And you explained very effectively the complete value chain. What is it and how is it and where is it and why is it and where to apply with all examples and so on and so forth. I have been very carefully taking down the notes because for me to also to understand very lot of things that you said it very clearly that you have compressed a talk which is supposed to have taken 6 months program to a 1.5 hours discussions, and that's how the interest gets generated. And you also very rightly said it, with apart from your engineering background, you also with a legal background, so you're able to plunge into this area very effectively. This is a very important thing that, and you said it that you gone through the journey very effectively, that you talked about blockchain technology with 5 categories that is the important building blocks, which you touched it on mining and proof of works and consensus and decentralized applications and smart contracts. This is an important, given these 5 areas that itself will be getting into 5 certification programs for people to get into that, because the new area, it is not only one in a straight subject. It is the amalgamation of different areas of understanding into this technology. And this you have very nicely said it, that even with the Bitcoin, even with the cryptocurrencies, that what all the different things are happening, different leaves are coming out, different developments are taking place, that different value chains are being established. And you also identified areas of applications, and even in government, how many governments have operationalized it. And this is an it's a today's lecture is from the from the industry point of view, what is really happening on the ground. And you've taken the trade markets, stock exchanges, and how it is also generating a lot of industry perspective, and how you can develop business. And I liked your chairman's your founder's vision, that I am not building a business, I'm building a people. The people will build business, and that is a very important vision and mission, and to achieve the objective. And the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency and blockchain is that you have to build up people. It is not like the counting the flat currency. It is the knowledge-based currency, technology-based currency. And it's a technology has to play a leading role, whether the technology is effective or not. You have to make the technology efficient, effective. And it is based on these these zeros and ones, digital technology. And the digital economy, if you want to bring it digitalized economy, you have to adopt everything in the digital, adapt with the digital opportunities and with the digital communication. It is not information technology and information communication. It is a digital technology and digital communication. And these zeros and ones will play a leading role. And when on these zeros and ones, if the quantum computing also being injected over there, that what will be the phenomenal aspect and how it will be, very impactful. And this is the, the area where that people have to, effectively transform. It is a technology transformation which has to take place. And if we would like to get into the global trade includes so many, transaction of capitals, goods and services, three areas. It has to be with almost all discipline of, the, from where the students have to come up in their, career development. The technology will make advancement, technology will make advantage, the technology will make the people to come up. So this is an important thing. This is a technology, this is an area. Today I'm very happy that it would have motivated people to get into the global trade with the technology which they have, the capability which they have, and the confidence which they will have with one laptop and one internet connectivity at their home. And this is what is it is. You said it. You also very said it when I that the blockchain's prospects and how it will change international footprints, how it will generate virtual governments. All the gram panchayats can be converted as a virtual government. Today it's with 5 people with large scale corruption, built-in corruption. And if these urban bodies can be converted into virtual governments, how much benefits will get to do that? And then this, and you also said it that it's bigger than internet. It is it is so many layers have to be built in over the internet. Internet may be the carrier, and you also shown and you made the people who are participated or who are going to see your video, later days, that so many use cases, and you also practically you demonstrated that how it works. Even though during the process we face some internet delay, that is a bandwidth problems, but effectively you shown that the demonstration on the real life situations, and then this, and so that this is the how it is being used for trade, and you demo, and then how you would also talked about it, that rather than trading the Bitcoin, you have to get into the systematic investment plan. You also said it that invest and relax. Don't get into panic mode. Even that situation also, you said it that you can have that carefully you can get into mitigation plan. You can have a bit well and key assure and panic mode. And I'm also very happy as a person coming from the technology area that the terminologies are easily can reach the people. And that this is the type of mitigation plan. It is bit will, and also key assurance, and also panic mode. That with the panic mode, you will remove the panic. When you are in panic mode, get into that and resolve it and mitigate it. And it's a simple English. It's not a technology jargon, technical jargons that. And they also said it that careers and the roadmap. By giving technical the forecast reports from Gartner. I think it is a professional talk, an industry talk, and also that with a lot of case studies. And we are very happy to host you today. And this address is, even though it is planned for 1.5 hours, it has gone for more than about 1 hour 54 minutes. And thank you very much, Mr. Chakradhar. And we would like to have your association with the university to generate a lot of entrepreneurs on this area, because this is the tomorrow's technology. Even though today it is there, but the thing is that tomorrow the whole, the internet global trade is going to be changed. And why can't we prepare our youth, and our small scale, SMEs and small businesses and all our value chain, even agriculture trade. And we have got about 400 agriculture commodity value chain. How we can take up as a model one agriculture value chain to get into the blockchain based with cryptocurrencies, because fisheries one is an important thing, because traceability is more important. Blockchain also helps with traceability apart from area associated, the economic value. And so this is an important area there that we have to undertake a lot of pilot project with vast experience like what you have, your team has. So I'm very happy to have you today, and thank you very much. And we will like to have your association. Let us try to have a certification or a diploma program with an appropriate title and to be launched as early as possible. Thank you very much. With this, we will close the webinar and leave the studio. Thank you very much, and we thank all the participants who have participated through the facebook.com or youtube.com or linkedin.com. And we also thank His Excellency, the Secretary General, African Asian Rural Development Organization, and Honorable Chancellor of the Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology, who are the real motivators to organize this international webinar series on open source digital technologies. For any inquiries and research related inquiries, please write to Professor Moni Madaswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. My email ID is moni@sovietuniversity.ac.in. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. So we will close the webinar and leave the studio.